McCain III at the National Cathedral in Washington. President George W. Bush praised McCain's character and values.
Perhaps above all, John detested the abuse of power, could not abide bigots and swaggering despots. There was something deep inside him that made him stand up for the little guy.
President Barack Obama, who defeated McCain in the 2008 presidential election, reflected on the Arizona senator's love of country.
He was willing to buck his own party at times, occasionally work across the aisle on campaign finance reform and immigration reform.
Even though Senator McCain's funeral drew leaders from both sides of the aisle, at times it turned political, with veiled criticism of President Trump, who wasn't invited.
The America of John McCain has no need to be made great again because America was always great.
The service weaved together themes that captured McCain's life, military sacrifice, and legacy. Former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, who met McCain after he was released as a prisoner of war in Vietnam, says McCain was a gift of destiny.
The world will be lonelier without John McCain.
Senator McCain will be buried during a private service on Sunday next to his best friend at the Naval Academy in Annapolis. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Washington.
This is one instance of many. We have tremendous crime trying to come through the borders. We have the worst laws anywhere in the world. Nobody has laws like the United States. They are strictly pathetic.
Now, 10 days after the body of 20-year-old Molly Tibbetts was discovered in an Iowa cornfield, her father, Rob Tibbetts, speaking his piece in an op-ed piece. It was published today in the Des Moines Register. In it, criticizing our nation's leaders for using his daughter's death as a political pawn. Now, Tibbetts saying, quote, "I encourage the debate on immigration. There is great merit in its reasonable outcome. But do not appropriate Molly's soul in advancing views she believed were profoundly racist." Tibbetts went on to say, quote, "To the Hispanic community, my family stands with you and offers its heartfelt apology that you've been beset by the circumstances of Molly's death is wrong. We treasure the contribution you bring to the American tapestry in all its color and melody. And yes, we love your food," end quote. Now, the 24-year-old Christian Rivera was arrested for the murder of Tibbetts. Surveillance video showed Rivera's car along with Tibbetts. Police say that he led them to her body. Investigators say Rivera is an immigrant living and working in the U.S. illegally for several years. New at 11, the bandit suspected of ripping off several fast food joints around town is in custody tonight. The first robbery happening back on June 1st at the Little Caesars Pizza on Fresno Street. Fresno police arresting this man, 44-year-old Sean Brewer. They say he's a Bay Area parolee. Police say Brewer would walk in, grab a bottle of soda, then go up to the counter and pay, but would then tell the cashier to open the register. The suspect then reached in and grabbed the cash and threatened the cashier. Officials believe Brewer also committing 3 similar robberies in Fresno. They happened last month at a Wendy's, McDonald's, and a Burger King. New at 11, young political minds making a difference. Today, high school students from around the valley receiving a crash course on how to make change in their communities and on the national stage. About 60 students attending this Youth Rising conference in Sanger. Youth leaders teaching the kids their rights, how to register to vote, and empowering them to become agents of change in their communities. Some of the topics including your high school rights and knowing your rights with police and ICE.
So that way they have something to stand up for in their community. They can start seeing the things that are affecting them and then like have a voice about it.
The conference was hosted by Power young voters of color to create a California that is equitable and inclusive. All right, still to come here on the weekend edition of Eyewitness News at 11. Investigators uncover a new piece of evidence that could reveal the real story in the deadly bus crash in New Mexico involving a Fresno-based trucking company. Plus, it looks like a replay, but the Apple Store thieves are at it again. First, here's a look at tonight's winning Powerball numbers. The jackpot is worth a whopping $90 million. And a look at tonight's winning Super Lotto Plus numbers. Good luck. And don't forget, you know the drill. If you win, free lunch with me, right?
7 Eyewitness News.
And welcome back. The Fresno Transportation Company involved in the deadly New Mexico bus crash remains silent. This after 2 of the passengers on the bus have now filed lawsuits against JAG Transportation. And today, new evidence showing the local company has had several problems in the past. Federal investigators working for a second day at the scene of the deadly New Mexico crash. They're trying to determine what led to the violent collision between a Greyhound bus and a tractor trailer on Thursday. State police believe a tire failure caused the truck and trailer to jackknife on I-40, cross over the median, and slam into the Greyhound bus with 50 passengers head on. Now an attorney for 2 of the bus passengers accusing the driver and the Fresno Transportation Company of negligence. In a pair of lawsuits filed just 1 day after the crash, attorney Brian Williams cites federal safety data showing 3 crashes in the last 2 years involving JAG Transportation, Inc. The complaint raises concerns about proper maintenance and inspection of the truck's tires.
Because that just happened like that. It's just out of nowhere, you know. You have no control over it.
Elisaro Taito at the wheel of the big rig survived. Before the lawsuits were filed, he broke his silence exclusively on CBS News.
When, you know, I'm driving normal and then split second, it just goes to hell. I was surprised that I made it. I don't know if I could do anything to change it. I would, but I can't.